Start out by saying thank you for using the Simply Canvas video tutorial system. My name is Emily Sullivan, and this video tutorial is designed to show you how to set up your files in Photoshop to accommodate a standard stretcher bar depth of 1.5 inches, as well as the thin stretcher bar depth, which is 3/4 of an inch. For both of these stretcher bars, we do ask that you add an additional 2 inches to your image. So in this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to resize your image while adding that additional 2 inches. So once I have my image open in Photoshop, the first thing that I'm going to do is to come up into Image, select Image Size, and here I'm going to be able to resize my image for the canvas that I'd like it to be printed on. And the first thing that I'm going to do is to come down and uncheck the Resample Image box. By doing that, I will lock in my pixel ratio, which you can see at the very top, as well I'm linking together the width, height, and resolution of this image. I would like to increase its size just slightly. I will be printing a 20 by 24 inch canvas, so I will be needing to add 4 inches to that to accommodate the 2 inches per dimension on the stretcher bar. So I'm going to go ahead and say that once again. I am going to be printing a 20 by 24 inch canvas, and to the 20 dimension I'm going to need to add 4 inches. That's 2 inches per dimension. So that's going to take the 20 to 24, and likewise on the 24 inch or the longer side of the dimension I'm going to need to add another 4 inches to accommodate the extra 2 inches per dimension, so that's going to take it to 28. So I'm going to be sizing this image to 24 by 28, which represents that additional 2 inches being added to a canvas that will end up having a front face dimension of 20 by 24 inches. I'm going to start by changing the longer of the 2 dimensions, which is the height. So I'm going to change this 20 to 28, and you'll see that the width is not quite accurate to the 24 inches that I want it to be set at, but I'm not going to change it in this image size box at this time. All I wanted to do at this time was to change the longer of the 2 dimensions. You can also see that my resolution has changed. This resolution, when we have the resample image box unchecked and all of our dimensions are linked together, is going to represent the native resolution of the size of the canvas that you have made it to be. We're going to come back at the very end and change this resolution to 100 ppi, but I do want to make sure that we have all of our other changes made before we do so. So this time I'm going to come back and recheck the resample image box and come down to the bicubic selections, and since we have enlarged this image, we're going to choose bicubic smoother, which is best for enlargements, and click OK. At this time, now that I have part of my dimension changed to accommodate the stretcher bar, I need to come into my layers palette. You'll see that this layer is currently locked and I do need it to be a workable layer, so I'm going to double click on it. It's going to ask me to rename it Layer 0, which is fine. I'll click OK. And now this is a workable layer. Once that's done, I can come back up into Image. This time I'm going to choose Canvas Size, and I'm going to make the changes for the width that is not yet correct for the dimensions that I need it to be. So I'm going to uncheck the relative box, and you'll see that my dimensions then come up for me. And I would like at this time to just change this 22.4 to 24. You'll see that the height remains unchanged. It stays at 28 inches. And what we're asking this to do on the canvas side is to distribute that extra roughly 2 inches on the top and the bottom evenly. We do want to make sure that this anchor point is at the center before we go any further, and we will click OK. You'll see that I have evenly distributed now that roughly 2 inches on either side of the canvas. And now I need to just stretch my image out a slight bit to fill out that area. Before I do so, I'd like to pull a few guides down on my image just to show me where my canvas is going to turn at a 90-degree angle around the side of the stretcher bar and then around the back of the canvas. So I'm going to move my image over so that I can see my rulers, and click on my Move tool, and I'm just going to pull this down. You can see that the top of the image hits right at the 0 if you look all the way to the left ruler. So I do want to pull it down to the 2. Holding Shift, it's going to lock that guide right to the 2. And this bottom is at 28, so I want to pull it to 26. And likewise on the sides, same thing. So now you can see where those guides are. Inside of them is going to be the front face of your image as it will be printed, and this additional 2 inches, 1.5 inches of it, or 3/4 of an inch, if you're using the thin stretcher bar, are going to be the sides of your canvas as it's wrapped around that stretcher bar, and the additional dimension is going to wrap around the back of the stretcher bar where it will be stapled and assembled. So we just want to have our eye on where that's going to happen. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and stretch the canvas or the image out to accommodate that extra dimension. So I'm going to come up into Edit, Transform, Scale, and you'll see that a line comes around my image that also has some anchor points. So I'm going to choose this top corner anchor point. I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm just going to stretch that image out. And now I'm down at the bottom anchor point. And I'm just going to stretch the image out until it fills up that whole canvas area. See that the image remains untouched. It doesn't get stretched or distorted in any way by using this technique. So once I'm happy with that free transform, I'm going to go ahead and click check, and that just denotes that the computer can apply it to that image. The last thing that we're going to do before we click save is to come back into image size, and we need to change the resolution of this image. So I'm going to leave the resample image box checked and simply change the resolution to 100. Click OK. And I'm just going to zoom back in and show you that the quality of the image is still very good. And finally, I'm going to go ahead and save my image, and I'll save it as Rider 20-inch by 24-inch for canvas. I'm going to save it onto my desktop, and I will change the format to JPEG. Go ahead and click Save. We do ask that you make sure that you save JPEGs as the highest possible quality, which is a quality 12, and go ahead and click OK. At this time, your image is available and ready for you on your desktop for upload into the Rose ordering system. So once again, I'd like to say thank you for using the video tutorial system for Simply Canvas and Simply Color Lab. My name is Emily Sullivan. This has been the video tutorial outlining how to set up a file in Photoshop to accommodate a 1.5 inch and a 3/4 inch stretcher bar depth.